Well, it was a big week on the economic front for the government too, and not in a good way. And while the coalition is really struggling at their greatest nada, arguably, the government has its own economic woes. The Reserve Bank hiked interest rates during the week, and the government must look at ways to cut spending and improve its budget position. One of those ways was an announcement by the Deputy PM and Defence Minister Richard Marles to sell off some of the jewels of the Defence crown, such as Victoria Barracks in Paddington, Sydney, to raise a couple of $1 billion. And there's speculation about an increase in capital gains tax being part of this year's budget that hasn't been ruled out by Prime Minister Anthony Albanese or his Treasurer Jim Chalmers. Well, despite Jim Chalmers insisting in question time that private sector spending had caused the inflation that led to a rate hike, Coalition MPs drew out of Reserve Bank Governor Michelle Bullock, or should I say Liberal MPs did, in a committee hearing in Parliament on Friday, that the government's spending was also to blame.
Does government expenditure influence aggregate demand?
Yes, it does, because as you say, there's some public demand, and then there's transfers and taxes, which also flow into that. So it's all part of aggregate demand.
Is it not then logical that government expenditure is putting pressure on private demand and putting pressure in interest rates? What is wrong with that logic that I have just laid out?
Mathematically, you're right. Public demand, expenditure and private sector, all of that adds to demand. That's logical, it's mathematical, that's what happens.
You mentioned the pressure that you feel in trying to reach that inflation target, and that pressure is certainly felt by Australian households as well around inflation. Is the fiscal decisions, is the expenditure decisions that are being made in this building making your job harder?
No, I don't. I think at the moment our focus is simply on what we can do to get inflation down. Private sector demand and government demand altogether in aggregate demand is too high. That's our focus.